وای من بیایید جنایت پهلویچی ها.
Basically, he said he was showing the video of the suspect that he was attacking the victim, and then the police said that he has a knife and we're gonna search him.
Why you arresting him?
Why you arresting him? Why you arresting him?
Why you arresting him? What's the reason? Why you arresting him?
Why?
You want us to stay there?
Get back.
No, why get back?
2 or 3 people have been stabbed here. We're trying to find out exactly what's going on. The police have suddenly come on really strong now, but as I was there at the scene where one of the people had been stabbed, about 5, 7, 10 minutes into what had been going on, there was no ambulance that had actually arrived, despite the fact that if you look on completely the other side, there's an ambulance standing there, and I said to them literally, why is it that an ambulance hasn't come when it's standing there? What is it there for? And no ambulance people had arrived. All you had was some police medic actually looking after it. And one of the problems is that we've done research on how the police actually behave and the way that they carry out their risk assessment. And what happens is that whenever anything that is on the side of the Zionists, so for example the Shahis that have come, the anti-Iran government people that have come from that side, and therefore they're inspired by the Zionists, they're in collusion with the Zionists, therefore the police are looking after them and see us as a threat. And what has ended up happening by this risk assessment that is taking place by the police over this period of time is that they have caused this kind of thing, enabled this kind of situation to actually happen, whereas what they should have been doing is that a number of people that they had available, they should have been looking after us. There should have been one person facing in, one person facing out, and I said that to the police officers that you're not looking at it. There's a guy that went right through our demonstration earlier, and we pointed that out to the police before that, and they still did not actually do anything about it. There was still quite a problem. So now the crime scene is increasing.
Yeah, and the police just push us around like this as well. You pushed us earlier, so...
And the way that they are actually carrying this out is to actually push people and really be unnecessarily aggressive towards protesters, despite the fact that there is no problem actually going on. So right now, there was absolutely no need for them to move us along at this point in time.
One of our people was stabbed, and the police, rather than arresting more of their side, the side of the Zionists, the side of the genocide supporters, they're arresting more of our people on their side. Shame on the police, shame on the Metropolitan Police. This is part of the environment of hate. They have allowed for 3 years, for 4 years they have allowed Iranian, Shahi, Zionist, genocide supporters to come out of places of worship and attack Muslims. Shame on them.
Both ways, what you see is all of them looking towards this particular protest, and that's been part of the problem, because their risk assessment is that we are the people who are pro-Palestine, anti-genocide, are the people that are a threat. Whereas what you see is those people that are inspired by Zionism, those that are inspired by genocide that is actually taking place, are given a free hand, and they're not policed in the way that they should be policed, and that they should be seen as a threat. And I hope that this tragedy, this attack that's actually taken place, is classified as a terrorist attack. But what we won't see is there won't be any media hype around who has actually carried out this crime. There won't be any media hype by the police to classify this as a terrorist crime. Despite the fact we are near Downing Street, what we won't see is Downing Street saying that there's been a terrorist attack on the streets in Whitehall by the people who are inspired and colluding with the Zionists in terms of being pro-genocide and standing against the people who are anti-genocide, anti what's going on in terms of war on Iran, anti what's going on in terms of the genocide that's taking place in Palestine and Lebanon.
And that guy, he's a father, right? The person who was stabbed.
One of the guys that we know a little bit about, that we've had some information on, is that he has 2 young children. And this is going to be tragic. He had just come to protest, and he was going back or moving away, and clearly what they're not showing and what they're not doing is recognizing and gathering the intelligence on those people who are inspired by the Zionists, who are carrying out these kind of attacks. They've been threatening people and making the signs that they're going to kill people. They've been saying it. As I was being pushed away from where the incident actually took place, one of the Iranian women thought that I was Iranian, and actually someone told me that what she was saying in Farsi was that she was going to attack me violently and get me, something like that was going to happen, where that threat was going to be carried out against me. I said that to the police officer, and nothing has actually been done to find out what these people meant, and actually say to them that kind of threat of violence is not acceptable when we have come here to protest peacefully in terms of what's actually going on.
We've seen this escalating over the last year and a half, where these Pahlavists, who are actually part of an organized little gang, there is a money trail that leads to particular organizations which organize these demonstrations, and they are funded again by the Israelis, by the Mossad, and their purpose is to create a climate of hate and a climate of fear amongst Iranians. I'll tell you for free that Iranian restaurants around London today have been threatened by these Pahlavists. Essentially, they go to them and they say, look, if you don't put a flag, if you don't put a Pahlavist flag outside your restaurant, this could be in Shepherd's Bush, in Ealing, if you don't do it, then we're going to come and smash up your business. Businessmen are scared to basically stand up to them for fear of having their businesses damaged. So they wilt, and then most of them pretend that they're with the Pahlavists. That's an act of intimidation. That's threatening behavior. That's actually breaking the law. That's not in itself. Then when you see them.
And then there's all that rubbish about the ambulances and all that side of things, where they're trying to blame Iranian groups for, attacking Jewish people. You want to comment on that?
Well, yeah, I mean, again, once you have an organized little mafia that's going around creating false flags, essentially, psyops will happen. And of course, the Jewish community are an easy target at the moment to put the blame on Iranians who may be pro their own country in a real sense. So yes, that's a classic one. And it's funny how those false flags have been so pathetic that it's so easy to suss out that they're just not even linked to any of us.
This is the environment of hate manifested. This stabbing is not out of the ordinary. I wish I could say this is out of the ordinary.
We're looking at a capital which has more CCTV footage than anywhere else in the country, possibly even the world. And what we are seeing is that this person, despite the territorial support group, TSG of the police, being here, despite the fact that you had a number of police vans here, they could not send a police van or send people to actually catch the criminal that was running down Whitehall towards Trafalgar Square. And instead, what they were doing is pushing the demonstrators around and focusing their energy, instead of trying to get someone who has tried to kill 2 or 3 of our demonstrators. They're trying to control us and push our demonstrators around. Again, completely unacceptable. And again, it goes to the mentality of the racist police structure that actually exists within the Metropolitan Police. It's been well researched, well documented, published, and what we see is that continuation of that policy and of that legacy in terms of what they actually have been doing for many, many years. And it's shameful that still, despite everything that has actually gone on, we will see little change in their behavior. And we And people right across need to actually be picking this up and saying this is unacceptable, and the police behavior and the racism that exists, the systemic racism that exists within the Metropolitan Police needs to stop, because it leads to the kind of tragedies that we have seen, and I hope that this does not turn, I pray to God that this does not turn into a fatality.
You've been told, do it again and you're under arrest. For what? For obstructing a police officer.
The police should realise who are the real troublemakers, who are the peaceful protesters, who are the aggressive ones. Everyone knows in the past and the present, they're the aggressive. The Zionists are the aggressive ones. Like in the Middle East, they're the aggressive ones. Here, they're aggressive ones. We are the peaceful demonstrators, and they are picking on us.
What's actually going on behind them, and if the person who's coming through and going past our demonstrators is actually going to be a threat. This attitude, this systemic racism that has been displayed here today is completely unacceptable. And everyone who's listening to this actually needs to write in to say, despite documentation, despite our protestations, despite the call to do a proper risk assessment, despite the fact that we are saying this environment of hate needs to be challenged and needs to be stopped, whether it's by the media, whether it's by the politicians, whether it's by the Chief Commissioner Rowley or any other member of the police or of alternative media who are pushing this line of creating this environment of hate against Muslims. This must stop. We've just seen someone else go past right behind me. The police haven't looked on my left-hand side as to who that person was. They don't know who went past them. That person could have stabbed me. They wouldn't have known that there was a problem. They should have been making sure that they're not doing something like this, that they're walking past, considering these protesters, because it was precisely because they walked past 100 yards down the line that this stabbing actually took place. They should have been making sure that these violent people who are inspired by Zionists, these Shahis, these Pahlavi supporters who are inspired by Zionism and the genocide that's been taking place, their violence is known, it is well documented, it is going on. But the environment of hate is in fact directed towards Muslims, and that needs to stop.